of lithium-ion batteries in your pockets if you have cell phones. You have more lithium-ion batteries if you have laptop computers. And as this technology improves for electric vehicles, it'll improve for everything else. So I believe there's an important role for investment. There's an important role for applied physics. The battery people are good people, but I think they need some help from the physicists. There are some very top-level problems that are well beyond them. I think that the nanotechnologies, the ability to make very small structures precisely, this technology that comes out of the semiconductor industry, I believe that this will hold a key to future development of batteries. And so the answer that I've come up with, and I'm just one person and I have limited vision, the answer I've come up with is the all-electric economy. We talked about that in the 50s, so in a sense this is back to the future. Powered mainly by wind and photovoltaic, geothermal, some natural gas and hydro, and used to do all the things electricity does now, but to also provide the added functions of heating and transportation. I have two goals. You've heard about the Pickens energy plan. Well, these two things are the Rippel energy plan. And I've had this before Pickens came out with his plan. That doesn't mean he copied. I think it's just independent thinking. My first goal is that as a nation, we would install 1 trillion watts of wind generation by the year 2018. That's 10 years from now. It's a tremendous goal. In high volume, wind will probably cost $1 a watt, so that's a $1 trillion investment. It's the same investment, roughly, when you add up all the indirect costs as the war in Iraq. Second goal, establish plug-in hybrids as the automotive standard in the same time frame. These are cars that are like our present hybrids, like Priuses and that, but you can plug them in. And if you're driving 30 miles or even 40 miles a day, you can drive them essentially as pure electrics, and they're using wind power or whatever good generation sources we have here domestically. If you need to drive a long distance, you can do that too. And then it defaults to being a gasoline vehicle. It doesn't have to be gasoline. It can be a biofuel. And I think eventually that would be. But it has that freedom, which electric cars don't have, that it can go long distances. Or if you just forgot to plug it in, you're not in that situation, oh my gosh, my wife was driving the car last night, she forgot to plug it in, our marriage is about to break up, I can't get to work. You have a backup. So here's what I feel we need to do. We need to do all this with ease. You get the little pun here. The first two items are really the inputs, what we need to put into this. And I think the starting point is education. Our country is very ignorant on the field of energy. Energy and money, maybe a few other things like sex, we're very, very ignorant about. The starting point is definitely education. And we've got some things to build, as I mentioned, with these goals. Electricity, energy technology. But things will come out that are good things. After we've cast the bread upon the waters, I think we will have a tremendous boost in our economy if we do the right thing. I mean, just think of it, where we're no longer taking $700 billion a year and shipping it overseas to people that many of whom don't like us. Maybe if we do the right thing and we don't give them the money, they will like us. Maybe. And then there's the environmental impact, where we reduce CO2. Imagine what the world would feel about the United States if we were leading rather than trailing the way in reducing CO2. Employment. If we build wind generators, you know, it's rather hard to farm all that work out to the Chinese when you're locating these wind generators on American soil. I think it's going to be great for American jobs. And I think as we learn stuff and get better at the technology, we're going to have some export products. Maybe with wind, maybe with solar, but definitely with some of the new ideas that I'm not able to even conceive of at this point. So doing all of this, I think, can be very exciting. I just want to conclude by going back to the asteroid. Now, you know, the first thing you'd be feeling if you heard about a real asteroid about to hit the planet, first would be denial. You'd say, oh, this is a lot of nonsense. And that's kind of the situation many people are in right now with oil depletion and global warming, is denial. When you finally get to the point of accepting stuff, then it's like, you know, when you really believe you've got a terminal illness, you feel very frightened, and rightfully so. And that will be the next phase. I think many of us are entering into that phase, a sense of fear. Then you get past that. You start having a plan and figuring out what to do. And that starts to displace some of the fear because now your mind is on the positives. Sarah Palin said she does not identify with Al Gore's gloom and doom. Well, maybe she can identify with what we're going to do to rebuild the U.S. economy, to rebuild industry. These are all very positive things. And they focus us away from the negatives. They focus us toward the positives. And then you move to the next state where you implement it. And there's a lot of hard work, a tremendous, it's like World War II times 5 or 6. And you've worked hard and you've gotten tired. And we'll have worked hard with the Japanese and the Chinese and the Russians and everyone else doing this. And then, like with that asteroid, with the big one, Schmidt, picture that asteroid, instead of impacting the planet, you see this large thing passing through the upper reaches of the Earth's atmosphere. And you know that because of our hard work, we've averted disaster, and because of our hard work, good things are coming. So that's the vision I have for all this. This, in a sense, can be the best news. This can be the finest hour of the United States. You people and your vision can be part of this, and I'm glad to be part of you. Thank you. I took that seriously. Yeah, you did. You want to? I'll just ask if they have any questions. Or
good question. We got time for a couple of quick questions.
Any?
Yes. Do you think that environmental fear mongering is setting back the clean energy movement because, in the process, like the Club of Rome declared, we'd all be in World War III by '85 because that's when oil was going to run out the first time and all that. Do you think that with millions of Americans that are not educated enough to figure out what's true, they hear all that and they just say, blow up everybody?
Yeah. I think the environmental movements in the past have been depressing and negative for some people. And I think, however, I think we're potentially moving into a whole new era of environmentalism when instead of saying, stop building this, stop doing that, we're going to be saying, you know, we've got to build 500,000 big wind turbines, and we've got to completely retool Detroit. These are positive things. So I think there's going to be a focus. We'll go through a fear phase, but I think we can get past that. And I think it's important that we all work so that we do get past it and we don't concentrate on you know, scaring people. A little bit of that is okay, but let's concentrate on the plan and what we're going to do.
Okay, we got one more. Now, Wally, Ed's favorite saying is, the devil's in detail. Right, Ed?
Why I stay away from it.
Yeah, right. my question is, in all this vision, and all the vision that I've used had for 17 years, the details keep getting bogged down by politicians.
Oh, yes. Well, you know, you think of that with the Apollo project. I mean, it was very simple for John Kennedy to say a couple of sentences of the vision. I don't think John Kennedy knew how to build the Saturn V booster or to carry out rendezvous in space. And the how is the big part. We know some of the how. I think we're off to a reasonable start. There's an awful lot of hard work that has to be done, and there will be mistakes made, and there's going to be some pain in doing all of this, but I think tremendous gain at the end.